Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. In this one we are going to build a Wikipedia search app. Okay, and I should probably say that this is one of the projects I teach in my 100 days of JavaScript course. So let me just switch to my website very quickly. You see that I have an additional course, 100 days of JavaScript, right? It's a project based course. Basically, I'm going to teach you how to take the basics or the fundamentals of JavaScript that you already know, and we're going to build a project every day for 100 days. Okay, I am confident that if you do take this course, it will definitely help you sharpen your JavaScript skills. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll leave a link in the description of this video where you can easily just click on that link and it will take you to the school where you can buy this course. All right, thank you so much for supporting me, and let's get started. Hello my friends and welcome back to the course. In this one we're going to build a Wikipedia search app, and I think this is probably going to be our last project where we use the async await with fetch API method. Okay, so basically this is what the user interface looks like. Okay, let me try to search with an empty string. So you see it gives me this information here that the search cannot be empty. Please enter a search term. Excuse me. Now I'm going to search for let me just say web design, and I'll hit enter, and you see the results. So different results, okay, from Wikipedia. You click on it, it opens in a new tab and in.wikipedia.org, and you see the information here. Okay, so we're going to build this project right now. So first off, let's write the markup. Okay, and this one we're going to try as much as possible to be swift. Okay, not that we're rushing, but we're just going to be swift. Okay, so let me start by removing the hello world, which we don't need. And the first thing we want to do is let's create a bootstrap container. So BSC, let me save that so it can realign itself. So for the row I want everything to be centered, so I will just say justify content center, and that's because we have the bootstrap CSS. Okay, all right, then we're going to make this 8 column, so 8, right? And then let's just do like so. Then even this column, we want the text inside it to be centered. Okay, because it's just going to contain these two guys here, so I'll say text hyphen center. Okay, so now let's come here and add the main content. So the first thing is an image, so I'll say img, and this image is going to have a, okay, yeah, it's actually going to have a class, and it's just margin. So margin on the top and bottom of 5. What's going to be the source? So let's enter our images folder, and we just have one, wiki.png. Is there any other thing? Okay, alt text should be wiki. Okay, so that's as far as it goes. I'm going to come down and let's just add a form that is going to have a class of display flex. So d hyphen flex, flex, and let's do tab. Then let's add input. So we're going to add an input and a button actually. So input is going to have a class of form control, and let's do form control large to make the input a little bit large. Let's see, then let's add some padding around it. So p-3, and I'll hit, oh sorry, control z dot p-3, and I'll hit tab. Okay, then it's going to have a placeholder. Let me just make sure. Anyway, oh, I didn't even put any placeholder. Well, I can as well put here. So it's going to have a placeholder of enter, I don't even know what to put here, man. Enter search term or something. Okay, then let's create a button. this button is going to have a class of btn. Does it have a class of btn? Let me just be sure. Yeah, it has a class of btn, and so we'll add some margin. So ms hyphen 3 hyphen 2, and inside of this button, right, we're not going to add any text. We're just going to add an icon. So we're going to use font awesome and fas-f.fa hyphen search and hit tab. Okay. Let's see, is there any other thing? The button should have a type of submit. So type and submit. All right. Yeah, so I think that's about it for the form. And we're going to have under the form, right, I'm going to have a horizontal rule. So HR, I'm going to give it a class of hide. It should actually be hidden, but whatever. So hide, and I think that's it for the form. Yeah, so let's save this and see what we have on the page. Yeah, so this is what we have, and this is definitely not what we want. Oh, this input has to be rounded. Okay, so I'll come to the input and we'll add some more classes. So first let's add a border, and let's add a border color. So border, and I think we use success. Then we'll then say rounded peel, rounded hyphen peel. That would make the input rounded. Okay, yeah, so like this. Then for some reason I am not seeing my font awesome. Anyway, this image is too big. So let's go to our styles.css first, and let's just make this image 30%. Okay, so because it's just one image, that's why I'm not going out of my way to be specific. Okay, so I can't find my font awesome icon for some reason. Anyway, I'm sure it will be somewhere. Let me just be sure. Oh, okay, so I didn't complete it. So fa hyphen search. I wonder where the remaining part of the search jumped to, but let me just, I thought I typed it correctly. Okay, so we have the search icon here. Okay, so we're going to use CSS to bring the search icon inside here. Okay, but first let's finish the markup. That's how we do our stuff. Or, well, maybe I can just do this since. So let me come to my styles.css, and what are we going to do? We're going to come here. So let me just say start here, and I'll target the form, give it a position of relative. Then there's a button inside the form, so I can just say form button, and this one is going to have a position of absolute. Then we're going to position it from the right. From the right, we'll say we want it to position 1 rem. From the top, we'll also do 1 rem. Then we're going to give it a border of none, which I don't think is actually going to change it. Then outline of none. Okay, let's save that and see. So you see it's now positioned inside the icon. So now let's target the icon itself. So I'll say form, and let's increase the font size a bit to 1.6 rem. Then let's do color of, let's just do light blue. Okay, then this line under here, we're going to hide it. So I'll just say dot hide, and set it to display none. Save that, and so you see we have a bigger search icon here. All right, so we're done with this first page and this first form. Let's write the second part of the markup. So we're going to come down. What am I doing? So we're going to come here and say section, okay, just to separate things. And here let's create a bootstrap container, save that, and basically it's just going to have the same thing like we had here. So we're going to justify content center. We're going to change the number of columns to 8. Okay, let's come down here like this. Now we're then going to create a div with a class of results. Okay, that's results plural, and this div is also going to have padding on the top and bottom. So py, and let's just do 3. Okay, now inside this result, right, if you look at the original this thing, when you try to search for an empty with an empty search input, it will give you this notification. So the first thing is we're going to add that notification. So it's going to be p.alert hyphen danger, and well, initially we're going to hide it. Okay, so I'll also give you the class of hide. So it's only going to show when you like search with an empty input. Okay, all right, so I'm going to come down here and we're going to write markup for the search result. So how it will look, let me add a comment and say single search result, and let's duplicate that, and inside here is where we're going to put the markup. Okay, so for the single search result, basically let's create a div with a class of result. So singular, this one is results plural, this one is results singular. Okay, now inside we're going to add some padding to this div, so we're going to say p-2. Okay, now inside this div, let me just actually search for something. So let's just say love. So what's the first thing we have? We have this link and love link, the big link here. So we're going to come here and we're going to create an a tag like so. It's not going to go anywhere, but it's definitely going to have a target because we want it to open in a new tab. So this is going to be blank. Don't forget that when you are using the target blank, set the rel to no opener. Okay, then here we're just going to add something and say love. Okay, then for the class we're going to give it a, let me see, we're going to give it, I'm actually thinking, okay, we've not added a class to the link. Okay, I see. All right, so let's come here and add a class. So we're going to give it a class of h3, and we're going to set the font weight to bold. Okay, all right, so we're done with the first one, and next we have a link. Okay, so I'm going to add a line break. Okay, so br like so. Can actually just put the line break, well, I can put it here. So br, and then I'll come below the line break and there's another link. Okay, so well, I can actually just copy this link like so and paste it here, but we need to change some things. So for the second link, we're going to give it a class of font size of 5. So this, in fact, let's just get rid of all the classes here. So font size fs-5 to make it small. Then we're going to do text success, that's the color. This is actually going to be like a link, a Wikipedia link. So I can actually just copy this guy we have here and paste it in here. Okay, So, but let me just make it wikipedia.org to make it a little bit simpler. Okay, / that's okay. All right, so next we're going to add text, so that's a paragraph. Okay, so I'm just going to do p, and this p is going to have a class of font size same, that's 5. And here let's just add some dummy text. So lorem 20 dummy text, and like that. Okay, so as it stands, let me save that and let's see what we've done. Okay, great. So as it stands, I think we're done with the markup for this project. Okay, so in the next one we're going to add JavaScript logic for the project, such that when you search, you're going to actually fetch results from Wikipedia. All right, thank you so much for watching this one, and see you in the next one. All right, welcome back, guys. Now let us add the logic for the Wikipedia search app. Okay, so first let's start by creating variables. So I'm going to create a variable with a query selector that is going to get the input on the page, and this one is going to be called search. Let's duplicate this downwards like so, and I'll do it a few more times, maybe like, yeah. And this one is going to target the form, and here we're going to also target the form. The next one is going to target the results, so this is the results, and it's going to say search result. Then this next one is going to be error message, so error msg, and here we're going to target the dot alert, okay, which is initially hidden, if you remember. Then the last one is going to be the line under the, so I'm going to say line, and it's going to target the horizontal rule hr. And okay, so next let's create the API URL variable. So I'll say const, and I'll call this API URL, and it's equal to, I'm just going to paste in the API URL. So I have it here. So this is the Wikipedia API URL. I'll paste it in, and let me get rid of one of these. Okay, yeah. So now what do we want to do? Let's add an event listener on the form. So I'll come down here, right, and I would say, so basically you will actually have access to this file before you watch the, like, this file will be available to you, so you can actually just get the API URL and start afresh. Okay, so you can follow me. Okay, all right, so let's add an event listener to the form. So form.add event listener, and it's going to be a submit event. Okay, let's add a comma, and we're then going to say e here. Okay, now so let's do the e.prevent default not e / e dot prevent default, like so. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the value of this search. So I would say I'll say const search value, and it's going to be equal to search dot value. Okay, so why don't we just alert the search value? Okay, search okay search dot value, like so, and save. And really, if we just come here, we type something in and hit enter, you see we have it here. So everything is wired up correctly. Okay, getting rid of this. All right, now we're going to validate the input to make sure that there's actually something in the search. So we're going to do that with an if else statement or if statement. Okay, so I'll say if search value is equal to an empty string. What do I want to do? I want to get the error message and display it. Okay, so I think this is the only place where I actually used the error message. Okay, but anyway, I'll just do error message me, and here I'm just going to say search cannot be empty, please enter a search term. Okay, now we've not created this function, so we're going to create it. Okay, but meanwhile, let's come to the else block and let's say get results. Okay, and here we're going to pass in the search value as an argument. Okay, so many of these things you should actually be familiar with them, right? If you've been following the following and understanding the previous lectures. Okay, all right, so now let's first create the error message. Yeah, I think we can create the error message first. So basically, let's come down here and see error message. Okay, so it's going to be a function, and we already know the name, error message. Okay, and it's going to take in msg parameter. So basically, when the error message is displayed, right, remember that we have a horizontal rule under the form. So if you come, where's the form? All right, yeah, so under the form we have a horizontal rule that is hidden, right? We only want that to display when there is either an error message or some results to display. Okay, so inside of the error message here, I would say first off, I'll display the error message, which is what we put in this variable. So I'll say error msg dot style dot display, and I'll set it to be equal to block. Okay, that's one. Then I would then say that I want the line. You know what, I'll just duplicate this down and change this to line dot style dot display, and also set it to block. Then I'll go ahead and set the error message. So error message msg rather dot text content, and I'll set it to be equal to msg. Okay, so whatever is passed, essentially what this means is that I can use this error message anywhere. Okay, all right, so if I save this and I come here and use an empty string, you see I get the error message, search cannot be empty, please enter a search term. Okay, so it works great. All right, now next we need to create the function that will get the result. This function we called here. So I'll come down here and remember async awaits. All right, so async and call function. The name of that function is get results, and like so. So here it's going to have a parameter. So I'm just going to say search val. Okay, and note that the parameter here doesn't have to be the same as the argument. Okay, there are two different things. Okay, all right, so now let's go ahead and say const response, which will be equal to await and fetch. All right, now we are going to then call the API URL. So API URL plus. Now if you come and look at the API URL, you see that at the end here you see search equals, right? So we're going to append the input value, the search value. Okay, so I'll come here, and in this case it's going to be the search val. So search val. Okay, great. Now we can close that and come down, create another variable. Where is my JavaScript? Oh, I closed it. So I got this new mouse that, behaves in a certain way sometimes. And just like that, I can't find all of the JavaScript I've written. Control Z. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to create another variable, and this one is going to be data. Okay, or let's actually call it results this time. So results, plural. So it can actually be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be data. Okay, response and data is common because it's easy to explain and stuff, but it can be whatever you want. So const result will then be equal to await. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the response.json, like so. Okay, so you close that, and then if you come down here and you log it to the console. So let's log it to the console. And what are we logging in? Results. So if you save that and you actually come here, let's open this up and do Ctrl Shift I to inspect. Ouch, no, this needs to be bigger. So we need to close it and do it again. Okay, now if I search for love, not of, but love, you see that we have something in the console here. And if you look in, you see query, you see search, and you see some results. Okay, yeah, so we've successfully connected to the API. Great. We can close this up and proceed. All right, now that we're able to log the results, well, let's come down here and let's use an if else statement. Okay, now I'll say if the results if there is no result to be displayed, right? Because sometimes, like for example, if I search for something that obviously is not on the search, then there may be no result to be displayed. So now the way you say that is, you know what, let me actually Control Shift I one more time so that I can explain with what we have here. So I'm going to open this up, and I'll open up, see we have query here. Okay, so let me just start from here. So basically what I'll do is I'll say if results, and first off, inside the object we are going into the query, so I'll say dot query, and I'll open the query, and inside the query you see that we have search and search info. What we are interested in is the search. So here I'll come here and say dot search. So if I open the search next, right, you'll see that we then have the search results. So I'll come here and say search dot length, and here they are about 19. Okay, so I've said search dot length, and I'll say that if it's equal to 0, right, what do I want to do? I'm going to call my error message. So I'll come here and say return error message. And what do I want to return this time? I want to say that invalid search, please enter another search term. So invalid search, comma, please enter another search term. Great. So else, what do I want to do? Else, I want to display the result. So we are saying that now if we're able to get some results from the API, let us display results. Okay, and this display result is going to take in result as an argument. Okay, all right, so let's save that and let's test one more time what we've done. So here I'm just going to do something that I know will not be searched for. Hit enter and say invalid search, please enter another search term. Okay, so that's great, that's really great. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to actually display the results on the page. Okay, Is it display result or display data? Oh, it's displayed. I actually use display data. Let me see something. Okay. But I can use display result. It doesn't change anything. It's just the name of the function. All right. So display result, great. So let's come down here and let's see display results. Okay. And how do we start? Just the function, and the function is going to be display results. And of course, let's give it a parameter here. So I will actually call the parameter results. Okay, the same name, and then let's open it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the what's it called? We're going to loop through the results. Okay, so first, whenever a result is displayed, just like when this input is displayed, we want the line to separate the search box from whatever. So I will get this line one more time, which is inside the error message. So line, and so let's display the line, and then let's create another variable called output, and let's just set it to, let's just initialize it. So I'll set it to an empty string. Oh, well, it's actually setting it to an empty string, not initializing it. So let output be an empty string. Okay, then now I'll then loop through the results. So I'll say results dot okay, remember that remember that we need to enter the query. So let's see how we did it before. So it's results dot query, right? Then dot search. So I'll say results dot query dot search, okay, dot for each. Okay, great. Now this for each, remember, it's going to take a callback, and each individual item in the results we're going to call result singular. Okay, and we're going to use our arrow function like this and open it up. All right, great. Now we're going to then see that okay, there's something we're going to do, right? We're going to define a variable. Let me show you what that variable will represent. So if you come to let me see, if you come to the index.html, the markup here, the single search results, you see that in the second link tag, we have this link here, this http.wikipedia. So that's actually going to be very long if we want to, you know, manually paste it in the JavaScript. So what we're going to do is we're going to place it inside the variable. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say let results URL. So I'll say let results URL be equal to, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy the prefix of the Wikipedia URL, and this is how it is. So let me paste that in. So this is how the prefix of the Wikipedia URL is. Oh, I'm supposed to use template strings here, so I'll Ctrl Z and use template strings, and then I'll paste that in. Okay, so wikipedia.org/CURID equals, okay, that's what we're going to do. So for now, we're going to leave it like this. Okay, of course, don't forget we're going to close this here. So I'll come down here and I'll say output, and we're going to append something to it. So I'll say plus equals, still we're going to use template strings, excuse me, and here this is where we can actually just go to the index.html and copy this very nice markup we put here. Okay, so from here I will just grab this guy like so, I'll copy it and let's go back to our JavaScript, and I'm going to paste it in. Okay. All right, now let's begin to add the values from the API. So the first one here is the link, which is going to represent this first link here. So that's what we are trying to create here, result URL. So here I'm going to come here and complete it, and basically I'll just add a $sign and curly braces, and I would say results.page ID. Okay, so results dot page ID. So let me show you what this actually is. Oh, I think I have refreshed the page. I did refresh. Okay, let me just search for love, and hopefully I've not refreshed the page so we can actually get something. Okay, yeah, so we still have this logged here. Great. So query search oh, there's nothing here. We've not searched for anything. So let me search for love and see. So because we are working on the display result, we cannot actually see that, but no problem. I can still explain when we are done. So now we've set the result URL to this guy here. Okay. So let's enter the first link. So this first div here, this first link here with the class that is going to represent this love here, the bold love. Okay, the title. So here I'll just come inside the href, and inside of the href, let's just do the $sign and the quotes, and let's say result URL, like so. Okay, then the text. Okay, it's not going to be love like this. So I think at this point I can actually just copy this. Okay, so the text on the link will then say results.title. Okay, so let's come to the next link, and the next link is also going to, the href is also going to be result URL, and the text inside would also be result URL. Okay, so we paste that in. Then the last one is the paragraph. So this paragraph is going to be result snippet. So we're going to get rid of all this text inside. Okay, let's paste it in, and let's make this results dot snippets. Okay, so I think we are done with this part. Now what we need to do is, of course, don't forget to close this. We're going to close the template string here. So right inside the template string, well, I think I can actually still do it outside. Well, let's try both. So right inside, I would say search results, which is the variable that gets the search in the DOM, the search results in the DOM. So I'll say .inner HTML, and I'm just going to set it to output. So output, like so, and I'll save, and hopefully, or well, I can go to index.html and comment this out. We don't need it anymore. All right, so hopefully let's come here and search for love and hit enter. Ooh, so we have it displayed on the page. Now let me go to inspect, Ctrl+Shift+I, and show you how the properties of the objects that we, so query, search, and let's open one. So you see here we already have title. So you see here we can see title already. So there's the title, there's the snippet, which is what we use, there's the page ID, right, which is what we also used, okay, in our code. So let me just go back to my JavaScript. So you see here we were like we use the page ID here, we use the results.snippet here, and I think there's one more, result.title. So that's basically what the information is, what you see here, the result.title, snippet, and page ID. Okay, so by and large, that's how, like, the basics of how you can create a Wikipedia app. Let's search for something else. Let's say HTML, and you can see the results are displayed. If you click on this, it will open in a new tab because that's what we set. Okay, so I think that's the lecture so far. Thank you so much for watching this one. I will see you in the next one.